Welcome everyone to a special episode of Across the Hobby. Today I'm going to take you through and preview the spring 2025 auction for Robert Edward Auctions. As you probably know, but in case you don't, REA has an auction about 2 to 3 times a year is all, a significant like full-on catalog auction, and it is absolutely massive, an absolutely massive auction. And like I said, I'm grateful to be able to walk you through it. If you look right here, as I already start sharing, you can see that there are 3,497 items up. I cannot in any sort of way walk us through all of those. Not even going to try. So what I'm going to do today is glance through the first page or two. I've got it sorted at this point by highest bid, and I've got 100 items on each page. And so we're going to look at each of those. We're going to take a specific focus then on basketball, anything that's related to the auction that's basketball, and just see what else that we can get through that might be interesting. As always, I would strongly suggest taking your time, planning a good amount to go through the whole of the auction, do your specific searches. I bought from Robert Edwards at least a few times in the past. I've always had a great experience. Everything's gone very positive with them. If you remember, if you followed me for a while, you remember that I at one point acquired an uncut sheet of 97 Essential Credentials basketball cards. That came from Robert Edward Auctions. I've bid on a few other huge cards through the year. The only other thing that comes to my mind right off as far as like a big card that I won from them was I got the Kobe Bryant 2004 Jambalaya XL, which is just a huge, really rare insert that I ended up selling to Nat Turner. I wish I would have kept it. I wish I would have kept that card for sure. But they always have huge stuff. So let's without further ado, let's get into the things that are currently the highest. As always with this show, my goal is to walk you through what I like about these things as a collector. I don't get into pricing too much. And I think some people would like it if I got into pricing more, and I understand that. But I don't ever want to be telling you what I think something should be worth. I'd rather just talk about why a collector might really like the thing and try to bring the aspects that might be most interesting about a collectible. So let's dive right in. So we start off today with 4 massive vintage items. And if I go to the second row, you'll see, we're going to come back to the first row, but if I go to the second row, you're going to see just how massive this auction really is. In the second row, you get a Plank, a Henderson 10, the Wagner that's not the Wagner, but it's the other Wagner, the American Caramel in a PSA 4, and then a complete set, number 4 on the registry of 1960 Topps baseball. This is an absolutely huge auction. So let's start out at the very, very top. And we're going to click on each one of these 4 items, and we're going to walk through what makes each of them such a big deal. So the Babe Ruth here, we saw the Morehouse Baking Ruth. They had another copy of this that was also newly discovered maybe like 6 months ago in their last auction. And for obvious reasons, they held one back, and I applaud Robert Edwards. I'm just going to say REA. I applaud REA massively for acknowledging when they sold the first one that there was a second copy. I think I can imagine there was a temptation to not even recognize that because, if by letting everyone know that there was a second copy, it can make it so that people don't fight over the first one as hard as they could have. Well, the first one's gone, and this is the second one. The thing that I really love about this card is this stamp on the back. Right now, I think it says canceled. Why is it canceled? Well, I think you're going to read down in here. It says, let's see if I can find it. Okay. The reverse has the Morehouse Baking advertisement boldly printed in black, along with a purple factory stamps canceled, relating to the card's redemption as part of the promotion advertised on the reverse. This is so if you read on the reverse, it says, here's your chance to get a complete set of 200 of the best ball players in the big leagues, these photos will be wrapped in sunlight 10-cent bread. When you get 50 with no two alike, you may keep the photos, but show them at our offices and get a dandy baseball and a bat or a nice long jump rope for free. So this is somebody, the person who was the original owner of this card. The person who originally owned this card had 50 of these cards of different players. And they took those and they were able to actually physically take them to the Morehouse Baking Company, at which point they were able to get a jump rope or a dandy baseball. I guess dandy's it must be a brand because it's capitalized, and a bat, right? This is a situation where these cards were used for true promotional items. It was like, collect these and you can come get something else from our store. And that's what cards were originally all about. They were promotional items. I just love the card. Also, the fact that, you're talking about 1916, the very first year that pro baseball cards of Babe Ruth were made. 1914 has his one and only minor league card, the Orioles card. And then 1915 has, I should know this. I think 1915 just has a postcard of Babe Ruth on his team. But as far as like standalone first cards, 1916, I believe, is the first year where Babe Ruth has cards. So REA does a fantastic job of describing all of these sort of things over here. So I would recommend you, take a look at that as well. PSA 1, we could diagnose the card and take a look at why it is what it is. I love that it doesn't say marked up here, because I think the fact that it's canceled by the company, to me, makes it feel entirely original. And that's so different than if somebody had written on the card. I just love this card. And of course, everybody does. It's at $180,000, but take a close look at the population and make sure. In fact, let's do that real quick. Let's look at the population and then we'll move on. So I'm going to come over to the PSA website and type in the code over here. All right. This is a pop 1 with 1 higher. And so the one that was higher is the one that sold. I think it's the one that sold. This is new. PSA's website looks so different right now, doesn't it? It's like it's aligned different. I wish they would say how many total cards were in their population. I've asked them about that. It would be great if it said that, but it is what it is. So let's just type in Ruth here. And canceled Ruths. Yeah, there's 2 evergraded. And so the other copy that sold, and I would take a look in the completed listings. The other copy that sold was, why did it do this? Was sold by REA not that long ago. I know why, because I did that. Silly me. Okay, so that's the 1916 Ruth from Morehouse Bakery. The mantle is a card that you've looked at a million times. This one finds itself in an SGC holder, not perfectly centered, but not bad compared to a lot of them. Sits high and right. Other than that, the card doesn't show anything immediate to me that really stands out. It looks super, super sharp. It's currently at 170 grand. And another card that I want to focus on for a few minutes, the Bobby Orr from the test set in a PSA 9. So I remember looking into this set a while ago and trying to understand exactly why there was a test set and how they were distributed. And I don't remember exactly what I found, to be totally honest with you. But what I do know is that it's fairly rare. And I want to show you the population report so you can see exactly how rare it is. So I'm going to come over here and get the cert number. All right. So PSA has an estimate on this card, guys, of $800,000. I wonder where that comes from. I wonder if that's from Card Ladder. It probably is, since they're under the same umbrella company, or maybe it isn't. I'm not sure. So let's look at the population. It's not like the 1968 Topps Test basketball set that's crazy, crazy rare, but it's rare. And that's being proven already by these numbers. So you can see like about close to 4,000 total cards from the set have been graded. But look at this. There are 140 total of these ores that have ever been graded. Every once in a while, you'll see one hit, either an auction house that doesn't specialize in such major vintage pieces, or on eBay or something like that, and you'll see it, in the 5 or the 6 range. But there are 3 9s. There are actually 2 9s with qualifier, which don't have the same sort of they don't have the same sort of excitement that's attached to them. People don't think of them the same way as they do these other 3. But man, that is a huge piece for any for the hockey world, for the world of hockey. Bobby Orr is. I would say this real quick. Bobby Orr and his 1966 Topps card is one of the very few vintage hockey cards that is universally known in the hobby. That card, along with just a couple of others, from the 50s and 60s, and into like Gretzky and Waugh and Yzerman, all of those guys, Lemieux. Like there's maybe 5 or 6 cards that you think of, maybe 7 or 8 cards that you think of, and I'm saying this as a non-hockey guy that just sort of you've known of forever. This is one of them, and it's the rarer parallel, not parallel, it's the rarer version because it's a test card, and I just love that. So it's an exceptionally rare card in an exceptional grade and incredible condition. It's also fairly recently graded, starting in the 9s. So you'll notice as you look at it, and I don't remember if this is how they can tell the test, but you notice this little bar sort of across the right here. Does that show through on the other side? It does not. But gosh, that card is just gorgeous. Look at the black on the back. It's so just clean, so solid. The whole card just looks exactly like you want it to. It's beautiful. All right, and then I accidentally clicked off of this set. So we're going to click on this one and the next 4. And then we'll start being a little bit more spotty as far as which ones we cover. I want to get these biggest ones really out of the way. So lot number 9, 1909 to 1911 T206 white border SGC set, SGC and PSA, graded near mint complete. So it's got 516 of the 524. Be interesting to go through and figure out which of the 8 aren't in here. And I can't remember off the top of my head. I know I know this. It's been a while since I've looked at it. How many total cards, or how many cards are in the set? Like what 524 includes? Does it include the Wagner? Does it include the Plank? Does it include the different variations of a couple of different cards that have different spellings on them? I'm not sure, but you'll want to look at that and understand which cards are missing. The negative about SGC that you'll notice right when you just look right broadly at the first page is that there's different types of slabs that they've had over the years. These ones with the big 1 to 10 grade, they're more recent, and these other ones are, they're from they're older. But like I said, it's also PSA. Down here in the bottom left, we have this Walter Johnson that's in a PSA holder. It's great that they all are graded already, though. I mean, that is fantastic. And, if you're watching this, you probably know that this is really the most recognizable baseball set maybe ever. It's that and the 1952 Topps set. When I worked at a card shop, between 1999 and 2007, with 2 years in the middle to fulfill some church missionary service. That whole time in the back office, maybe not the whole time, but in the back office in our original location, we had this framed image of a whole bunch of T206 cards. And I just remember looking at that, and the Wagner was in the frame. I remember looking at that and just being like, wow, like that's the vintage baseball set as a young kid. And now, all these years later, I sort of understand a lot of the cards aren't the rarest. They're not common, though, any of them. Not a single card in the set is common. You don't find them all over the place. It's not like there's thousands of them just floating around. But in fact, let's take a look at that. Can we look real quick at like what the most common cards are in the T206 set? I don't know off the top of my head, And then we'll get moving a little bit faster here, but I want to understand this real quick. So if I come in here and go to, let's do this. I'm going to check PSA first. So if we come in here to PSA and we click on this, I just want to see like what's the most that any card has been graded. I said there aren't thousands. Let's see if that's true. I don't know if it's true. I typed in a wrong number here. So 158. Is that an 8 or a 6? We're going to find out. We're going to try 6 first. My eyes are not as good as they used to be, guys. Okay, cool. So this is a Piedmont Miller Huggins. Yeah, okay. So by clicking on that, it gives me a pop report. Oh, what's interesting is I know that they recently updated. That doesn't allow me to look up. Shoot, that doesn't allow me to look up the comparison. It just says item grade 6, and then it doesn't show me anything else. And that's not great. So let's try that with one more card. And if that happens again, then that stinks. PSA usually makes it so that you can just look at, look the card number up and then find the population by clicking through on the links. Yeah, this one did it. Okay, cool. But that one, for whatever reason, didn't do it. This first one didn't here. It's there, but okay. So the set as a whole has been graded a ton, right? It's been graded 292,000 times. But remember, there's 500 and something cards in the set. So as we just glance through, the first card is Ed Abadashio, and then there's another Ed Abadashio in different colors. Both of them had been graded a little bit over 500 times. And as I just sort of glance through, that seems consistent. Frank Arlanis has been graded like 700 times. And if we get to the Cobbs, not the Cobbs, what am I thinking? Yeah, the Cobbs. The Cobbs that have the biggest numbers. The Cobb Green has been graded about 1,100 times. The Bat on Shoulder Cobb has been graded 1,250 times. The Red Portrait Cobb has been graded 2,600 times. Those are going to be the biggest numbers that we find in the set. So outside of those big ones, you're going to find very few that are like in the thousands, which means that, they really aren't common. They're hard to find. That you can always sort of get on eBay and or other auction houses and try to find like a lower end copies. But for the most part, this set is really fantastic. And that's the part here that I've really buried the lead on, but I shouldn't have. I mean, just look at this page, for example, 4.5, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 5, 5. That's pretty high grade for this set. If you like go through and like compare, the total grades of the cards, what you're going to find out is that, things are pretty evenly spread between like 1 and 6, and then or 1 and like 4 or 5, and then they just fall apart after that. There's very few in the 7, 8, 9, 10s, and 6s are a lot less plentiful too than like 5s and 4s. This page is almost all 6s. I don't know how many 7s there are. This is definitely worth sort of looking through here and finding that out. And also, like I said, learning which cards aren't in the set. But to get all of them at the same time, 135 grand is what it's at right now. Okay, now I'm going to move a lot faster. Eddie Plank is probably the second best known card from the set, or at least the second card from this set that is the one that you think of that's impossible to find. This one you can see has some problems, but I've seen Planks sell that were way worse than this. You can see the mark on the back, big pen mark. It's obviously not great, but that's the reason that it's part of the reason it's a 1.5. PSA on this card would, I believe, put an MK on this. They would qualify it. I'm not sure if it would be a 1 qualified or 1.5 qualified with PSA. It might be more like a 2 or a 2.5. I'm not sure though. This is a crease. Well, it might even be a 1.5, just MK with PSA. I'm going to look up this number real quick because I want to know how many of these have been graded ever by SGC. I'm going to take a guess before we get there. I'm going to guess they've graded 15 of these cards ever. Oh gosh, I'm not signed in, but it's still getting. I think it still gives it to me. Yeah, it does. Okay, so Plank. I'm going to scroll down though. SGC does not make it quite as easy to just look things up as PSA does. So Plank. Eddie Plank has been graded 29 times. So I was definitely low there. And in a 1.5, it looks like 5 of them have been graded. I've got to scroll all the way to the top to see if that's the case. No, there's 5 ones. There are 4 1.5s. So obviously in the bottom third of the population, I feel like I'm going way too slow here, though. I want to speed it up. I don't want to lose too many of you guys. So Ricky Henderson, PSA 10. The thing that I'll tell you about this card, guys, this is the hardest card to get a PSA 10 of the 100 most graded cards ever by PSA. The rate on it is so small. I did the math on this across all of the, using gem rate, across all of the cards in the top 100 most graded cards of all time by PSA, and this is the toughest one. And it's a huge card. Anytime that an auction has one of these in it, it's a major story. And so, you look at this, it's 95 grand. I don't know what it normally sells for, but I know that that's a huge card that is just beloved. And then the 1960 set, 8.78 average grade. Look at this first page, Maze in a 9. The Clemente in an 8, Mantle's an 8, Bear is a 9, the Mantle Boyer's a 9. It'd be fun to look through there. It'd be fun to go to pick that up and then to try to upgrade it with 9s. Not going to be an easy thing to do at all. And then the Wagner, you got to love this one because of that iconic image with the different colors. Great looking back. I love that it's a candy product rather than the tobacco. Some people aren't bothered by that, but as somebody who's not a lover of tobacco, I like the idea that cards came in candy. I think that's cool. And I think it also sort of represents that these were real kids that were collecting these at that time rather than, maybe people who were a little bit older. Like this could have been a 5-year-old who got this, whereas with the tobacco, hopefully that's not the case. All right, let's keep moving here. So if we keep scrolling down, you get to another couple of cards that I just definitely want to focus on quickly. And that is, first, I'm going to hit the Joe Jackson. So my friend Jeremy Lee recently bought this exact same card, but it's the 1914 version. And the only thing that's different, there's 2 things. 1915, they're printed upside down like this on the back. That's how you can immediately tell the age difference. But the big thing about 1915 is a huge percentage of them were acquired via redemption. They were mailed away for. And so they don't have staining on them because cards that were placed directly into the Cracker Jacks have a tremendous amount of staining. So Jeremy's card from 1914, it's one that, it definitely is not perfect. And if you look close, it doesn't have very many stains, but if you look close, you can see some elements of the staining, which frankly you should see on a 1914 card. This card though, look real close. There is no staining here. The card looks like you want it to look. And in a 5, it is glorious. It's just a beautiful example. Fairly recently graded, has the gold NBA sticker, very well centered, not perfect, but very, very good. Iconic image, one of the most iconic baseball cards really ever made. And I love the Cracker Jack song, the Cracker Jack Red. It's still part of the song today. It's baseball. It's wonderful, and I love it. And then the blank back Ruth. I'm actually going to do some more content on this next week, so I'll save some for that. But ooh, what is this? My high school days. What is this? Interesting. So this is one of the finest examples we have ever seen from the series. This outstanding example was recently discovered in 2021, selling at public auction for a record-setting $235,000. I got to find out how this was discovered. That could be an awesome story. The fact that it's a 2.5 of them, it's beautiful. A little bit of darkness around here, and I'll bet you the story here You can see here how it's preserved within the confines of the book. This book right here would have had these little things that hold the card by the corners, and you can't see it as much on the front. You can't see that it was held by the corners on the front really at all, but look at the back. If you look really carefully, you can see the discoloration in each of the 3 corner areas. It's interesting that it left that. It sort of implies that it was like touching that part of the binder or of the page, and that maybe the oil sort of like bled through. I'm not sure. Usually when you see this, it's like it's the result of like light, but I don't think, I mean, that's not going to be the case here because this is the back of the card. Interesting. Well, I want to read more about that one, and like I said, you're going to see more content from me on that one this week. A 1988 SF Hess SGC graded partial set. This is something I don't know anything about, frankly. I know this one though. The Nagurski in an 8 is a huge card. Already at 55 grand, one of the most iconic vintage football cards of all time. But an 8 on this card is just out of this world. I gotta wonder how many SGC 8s of this card exist in the world. I've got to look that one up. So we'll click on that one. Wagner from 1903, where he's wearing a suit. That would be an interesting one to do some research on. Oh man, I love this. I love this Ruth. And an 8.5. As always, REA's got just some crazy high grade, crazy high end type stuff. So I already did some content on this Casey Jones. If you haven't seen it, please go check out my Instagram. This medal is one of the coolest medals that I think we've seen at auction, especially as a basketball fan. So 1956 in Melbourne, the U.S. team went bonkers. They won every game by an average of 56 points. They beat a couple teams by like in the 70s. And the only 2 names, if you look back at the team, because remember, they only let high school kids play in those days. They only let college kids play in those days. The only 2 guys from that team that you're going to know the names of probably are Bill Russell and Casey Jones. And it's amazing because Bill Russell and Casey Jones won championships at the University of San Francisco, 2 of them. Then they went on to each win huge numbers of NBA championships. I think they won 8 or 9 together with the Celtics. Casey Jones went on to win several as a coach that Russell wasn't a part of. And so between college, the pros, and the Olympics, Casey Jones has 15 championships. He only has 1 of those that's a gold medal, and this is the gold medal. So his game used jersey along with the shorts are also in this auction, as well as his lapel pin, and it's such a cool piece. All right, SGC 9 on the Chamberlain. That's huge. Some turkey reds. It's always good to see those. What is this? McGraw Silver Jubilee Program. Signed by a bunch of guys. I want to see that for sure. 1909 Crofts Candy Ty Cobb. That's a cool card. I've never seen that card before. We're going to look at that one too. And then newly discovered Walter Johnston. Very cool. Okay, so let's look at each of these. So, okay, the Nagurski first. I want to check the pop on this. I wonder if GemRate has this one. Let's give GemRate a quick check on this card. I'll bet you that they've done this one. So the reason that I'm asking this question is a lot of times when I see SGC graded stuff, I want to see how many in the same grade there are for PSA 2. So if you come to GemRate and you click Universal Pop Report, and then you come in here and you type, I think I'm in the wrong place actually. It's Nagurs. Yeah, I'm supposed to be under Universal Card Search. I always forget which one it is. So if we come here and we type in Nagurski, and we go, so we should see the National Chicle. There you go. So check this out. And so across all of the graded companies, this is what's so awesome about GemRate. Across all the grading companies, 247, see that right there? 247 National Chicle Nagurskis have ever been graded. So if we click on that, this is where you get some really interesting stuff. See how there's 0 gems or 0 gem pluses and 0 gems. There's never been a gem mint copy of this card graded, which is not even a little bit surprising. Not even a little bit. But is an 8, how many are there? Okay, now this is interesting stuff, guys. I wish I was doing some content on this. So think about this. The Nagurski National Chicle is the iconic vintage football card. There's fewer than 250 that have been graded across all graders and across all conditions. And this one is one of just 7/8 ever. And there are literally only 2 graded higher. They're both PSA. This is the single highest graded SGC copy of this card in the world. And for that reason, I do not think this is going to end up in, what place is it in right now? Right now it's in, sorry, I got to scroll back up. It's in 8, 12. It's in 14th place. I do not believe this will finish in 14th place. I don't. It's way too iconic and way too good a grade. And I know people prefer PSA, but as an 8, I mean, this age of card, it's close between PSA and SGC, right? Like it's close. 55 grand for the highest graded ever. I mean, that's awesome. The highest SGC grade ever. What I'd like to do is see that 8.5 PSA grade and that 9 PSA grade. I'd love to put the two next to each other, because as we look back at the card, it's certainly off-centered, but man, the rest of that card is just phenomenal. You could say my friend Jeremy would point out the registration's probably off a little bit of dark, comes down a little bit lower here than the shorts or the pants do. But man, that card looks exactly like you want it to. It's just beautiful. Man, I love that card. I wish I was doing content on this card, guys. I'm not doing content on this card, but it's iconic and it's in the highest. I mean, it's just fantastic piece. Okay, said enough about it. Let's keep moving. Okay, now this is the Silver Jubilee program, the McGraw Silver Jubilee that is signed by several guys. Signed by Joe McGinnity, Mickey Welsh, and Amos Russi. And these are guys that I don't know. I'm not somebody who knows vintage. I think this is vintage football. I don't even know that. It says New York Giants. Maybe it's baseball. I should know all those things, and I don't know. I'm acknowledging my lack of understanding on some of these things. But look at that. That's cool. On the cigarettes page, look at all those signatures. We know it's baseball, at least. At least I got that right. Just kidding. I got it wrong. Look at those. All of those autographs right next to each other. Again, I don't know this team. I don't know this history. What I do know is that's really cool to have those signatures directly like that together. But for it to be as expensive as it is, this has to be, a team that you just don't find these things together. So New York Giants programs signed by Hall of Famers and 5 other former New York Giants players, together with a letter of provenance from the family, is documented in numerous period newspaper accounts. Many of McGraw's former players, as well as a number of Giants old-timers, were in attendance that day. This is the sort of stuff I just need to know more about. I don't know this team. I don't know how rare it is to get all those guys together. I want to see if is that the only thing? It's not like in something else. Is this so this is the program. How many pages are in the program? It has been consigned to this auction directly from the purchaser at that sale. Okay, so this was up for sale previously in 2015. Be interesting to see what it sold for back then. Very cool. Okay, don't know a lot about that one. Try to give you guys some information. I don't know this one either, but I had to look at it because, again, I love candy cards. And look at that logo on the back. That is so cool. This is another card. So check this out, guys. This card's in a new case, but it was graded forever ago. I mean, look at that, 03. This card was graded in like 1999 or 98 or something like that. Like, this card was graded forever ago. It's rated a 3. And as we look at, I got to look at PSA on this one too, guys. As we look at PSA, man, I do not like the new PSA page at all. Usually when you type in a cert number, you can just type in another cert number on that next page, but now they're preventing you from doing that. You got to click the back button. First world problems, I know. Okay. Ty Cobb, PSA 3. Pop 2, only 2 higher. Yeah, I love stuff like this. I love stuff like this. I mean, honestly, it's a beautiful card too. Would you like it if Cobb spent a little bit, filled this area a little bit better? Yes. But that's how cards are sometimes, right? Like this is the real deal. You haven't probably even heard of Crofts Candy before. I mean, how many total cards have been graded by Crofts Candy? This 1909 set over the whole set, a little bit more than 300 cards have been graded. 301 cards total have been graded. The guy who's been graded the most is Bob Bescher with 15 copies. Let's see, unless there's somebody else who's been graded more. I don't think so. I think that's it. But it's got some decent names in it. It's got Wagner, it's got Young, but they're so rare, right? Like the Wagner of this is rarer than the T206. There's 15 Wagners in batting and there's 9 Wagners throwing. And for Cobb, how big is the set? How many cards are in it? It doesn't say. I hate it when they don't say that sort of thing. So Cobb's only got he's only got 12 cards. 1's an authentic, 4 are 1s, and 2 are 1.5s, which makes this is a 3. This is a top third of the population card right here. It's a good looking card too. The top's got something going on a little bit. It's a little bit got a little bit of dark, but Ty Cobb for this area is one of the players that's the most collected. And it's like not any wonder why. Go look at his stats. Go look at everything that he accomplished. But he does have a few of these types of cards that are so rare in any type of grade. And this is the sort of stuff that I love. I mean, I love this card. I think it's awesome. All right, let's keep moving. What is this? Boston Garter Walter Johnston. It's more like a poster type card. Significantly larger than most cards, for sure. You can see that by the size of the label up here. I need to know more about that, but obviously a vintage rarity. Okay, now we'll come back here to see what else we have going on. So I wanted to look at this Ruth, but again, for the sake of time, I just want to keep moving. Oh wait, that's right. We already went through those. My bad. I scrolled back up and it bit me. And there's another Joe Jackson. This one's also from 1915, not the 1914, 1915 in an SGC1. Bunch of autograph or a Vic Willis handwritten letter, PSA DNA. I could know way more about a lot of the vintage stuff, and REA really specializes in a lot of stuff. I should know more. A Mays autographed rookie in a 2.5. That's very cool. I do want to look at that one. I want to see the autograph. That one looks pretty good. I've got to look at this Jordan autograph. A Bob Feller PSA 8. Huge card from the 48. I love that they even added 49 leaf on this. See, so this card, the 48 leaf set or 49 leaf set was always thought to be 1948. And recently it's been discovered, like in the last year, there's evidence that was found that sort of indicates that the set was made in 1949. PSA is still labeling them 1948. Although it looks like SGC might be labeling it 48 and 49. But SGC is going ahead and saying, hey, this is 48 and 49 or 48-49. And I think that's the right thing to do. I always love this 1911 T205 set. It comes right around the same time as the T206 set. A Cons Wieners Roberto Clemente. I'd like to check the pop on that. I know that those are super rare in basketball. Got to talk to you guys about this Tom Brady right here. And see if anything else really stands out. I like this Eddie Plank a lot. I've never seen this before, but I think that's the same image as the T206. I wonder if it's close to the same rarity. And what ticket is this? Babe Bows Out. Does that mean that's Babe's last? 1948. What is that? Babe Bows Out. Does that mean like what is 1948 for Babe Ruth? What was Babe Ruth doing in 1948? Oh dear. He didn't play till 1948. What does that mean? I see. It's from the famous image of Babe Ruth. Okay, the time image that you've all seen a million times where you're like seeing the back of Ruth. It's maybe one of the first athlete images from the back that's like super iconic. We've seen that of other athletes since, but that's a very cool ticket. I'd love to check the population on that, but you will look up the image. And in fact, I'll just show you the image. But you guys know it. You know that image. That's Babe bows out right there. All right. Let's come back here. The Clemente, the 3D from 1968. We see these from time to time. A 7's a very high grade on that, but it is very rare. All right, let's take a look at these items a little bit closer. So this Willie Mays, a good 2.5 with an autograph of a 10, and just as you look right at it, that seems exactly like what it should be. The autograph here looks phenomenal. And I don't think he has a huge number of these. I do want to check that. And I could just look at I want to look at the write-up. This is one of 34 examples of this particular card listed in the PSA Pop Report, and just the 4th signed example we have ever offered. So I wonder, where it falls in the Pop Report. I'm going to check that, because a 2.5 here is actually pretty good. The thing that I'll tell you guys, let's see this. The thing that I'll tell you guys that has always really bothered me is that the PSA doesn't allow us to see, sorry. PSA does not allow us to see what the other grades of the autographs are on cards. It just bugs the heck out of me. It would be so much better if they did that. So this is a Pop 2 with 14 higher, but again, we don't know how many of the 14 higher have an auto grade of a 10. What I can tell you is that autograph right there is money. Obviously, the card's off-centered. I don't know. Jeremy always points out the black around in the box right here. That's pretty good. It's not perfect. There's a little bit of white, but that's pretty good. We've seen a lot of those that are a lot worse. Centering is obviously not great. Registration's pretty strong though. Could the registration be stronger? I don't know. I mean, it's pretty good. It's a great looking card. And again, when you look at the Pop Report, it's pretty slim. I've got to look at this card. So I love this card. In fact, this may be the same card that I bid on at REA long ago. So this Michael Jordan 1986 Fleer rookie card is not going to pass in anybody's book for a PSA 10. It's got white on the edges, white on the corners. I don't know if it has any creases. It actually looks pretty good besides that. This is the sort of card that probably got placed in like a screw down where it just pulled just a teeny bit of the corners away, because the corners are sharp. They just exhibit a little bit of white. In fact, let's zoom in and see if we can diagnose this a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. It's weird because, see, so this looks like wear down here. But the card, the corners look, I said the word sharp. Sharp's probably not right. But do you know what I mean? Like, this card is like, it still comes to that 90-degree point, basically like you want it to. This white is just really stands out here, though. And, oh, look at this. Crease comes right down into here. Doesn't look like it gets all the way through the card, but it looks to me, I think this is a crease right here that goes right along his arm. Maybe I'm mistaken on that. It might be worth looking up the PSA image. In fact, I'm going to look at the PSA image right now and see if it tells us anything else. It probably doesn't, but I got to do it. All right, 109, 316, 596. So this image, we're going to see if it tells us anything about the card. So this is PSA's new site, right? Like they literally, I think, changed it today, and it is not helping me at all here. Okay. I don't know why. Give me the back first. Okay, so that I definitely see this line, and then I see something here. So the line comes down into here into the ball. I don't know if I see anything across the ball. It looks like there's a line right next to his hand, And then it looks like there's one right next to his arm right here. And then the autograph down here, which is in, in really bold black Sharpie. It looks, I would argue, just like you want an autograph to look. It doesn't go off the card. It's, it's a great autograph. And then you can see that it's got this upper deck thing on the back, which probably indicates this was signed at like a, it is flight camp or something like that. The autograph here is the story, right? The fact that the card is signed, it's an original Jordan rookie. It's a huge piece. All right, let's get out of that. We already looked at the Willie Mays. The Roberto Clemente Cons Wieners in a PSA 5. You got to love it. The Wiener, the world awaited. And very similar to basketball, just has the little bit of typing on the back. But a 5 for this card's a very good grade. 1958. When is Clemente's rookie? It's 1955, 1956. 50, I should know that. I think it's 50. I should know that. It's one of those 2 years. But in a 5, graded a long time ago. Long time ago. I do want to check the pop. I wonder, does it say anything down here? Cards from this are usually found with serious condition problems relating to their methods of issue and creating creases, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it's definitely a higher grade card. I want to know how rare it is. And so I'm gonna go look. I like it. I like it when you can see the population directly on the site, and just get that it's hard to do that always for the auction houses. And I don't know if anybody really does them all the time, but it's really nice when they do. Okay, so let me go look at this. On the pop report. On the pop report, this is a pop 2, 1 higher. Just confirm that. This is a pop 2, 1 higher. Actually, there's something really cool about this that I want to show you guys. So check this out. So when you go check out the 1958 Cons Wieners that is here for sale, and you look at it on PSA's pop report, you will find that 8 total Clementes have ever been graded. 4 of them are 1s, 1's a 2, 1's a 4. There's 2 5s and there's 1 6. But as you look at, let me show you this. If I take out Clemente here, as you look at the population, somehow there's only 177 baseball cards from the 1958 Cons Wiener set that have ever been graded by PSA. Ever. But this is the craziest part. If you look at the stock photo that they have here to show you what the set looks like, it's our card. It's the one that's for sale. 117318110. There it is. So if you buy this one, this is the one that they have used as an example on the PSA website. How cool is that? I know, it's super cool. All right. Next card. So this is another one I really want to talk about. This Tom Brady card has always reminded me of the Kobe Bryant Topps 50th anniversary card that has the silver foil background. When you first look at it, you go, "Oh, that's a chrome," right? Because it doesn't exhibit all the colors, like the bright, lighter colors that the regular Bowman card does. So you're just like, "Oh, that's a chrome." But you got to sort of stop and go, "Well, that doesn't look like a chrome either. It looks different. What is it? Why is it different?" Well, the reason that it's different, and you can see here on the PSA slab, this is a gold card, right? This is a gold Tom Brady card. And you're like probably going, "Well, what's a gold Tom Brady card?" They actually numbered these to 99. This card is way rarer, and I mean way rarer than the refractor is. The refractor Bowman Chrome is also an exceptionally rare card, especially for a base refractor. But the Tom Brady 2000 Bowman Gold is way rarer. It's not even close. And so if you want a Tom Brady rookie card that like really differentiates your collection, it's actually a great option. This is absolutely the same Plank image. This is awesome. This Plank image is the exact same one as the T206. I love that it says on the back, the one is come off with a paper loss. It was probably stuck into a binder or something, but of 150 prominent baseball players, What's this set called? The E107 Type 1. I don't know those numbers well enough to know to tell you where this came from. But let's see if it says in here, it is much rarer than the T206. Wow. Issued in 1903, E107s have long been revered by collectors. This set represents the only Major League Baseball card of the era. Features many players who appear in no other sets and includes the first cards ever issued of many important stars and Hall of Famers, including Plank. The offered card is blah, blah, blah. Okay. Despite the obvious condition issues, it's a very attractive and desirable card. Eddie Plank's rarest and most, one of Plank's rarest and most noteworthy cards. I just love that the image is the same. I love that. Let me just show you guys what I mean. Eddie Plank T206. So this is the famous Eddie Plank. This is obviously like a fake card. This tells you why eBay sucks. T206 Eddie Plank, extremely rare. This is the first thing that popped up. 90% feedback. T206 Plank reprint, extremely scarce. So it says reprint, blah blah blah. But okay, so check it out. There's that image. Shoot, where did I go? Yeah. It's the same image, guys. It's the exact same image. It's interesting though. They took the A's and they put it higher than it actually was, because this looks like it's like an actual photo. So the A's has sort of been redone on Plank to put it higher. But check out the hair, check out the look on the face. It's definitely from the same image. Okay, so the writing here indicates that it's actually rarer than the T206. And I believe that, but I got to check that. I got to see how rare. Because if it's, I mean, if that's the case, then this is like one crazy rare card. And I want to know, I want to know like where it falls in terms of Eddie Plank's cards. Like, is it his earliest card? Okay, so this is a Pop 3 1 higher. How much rarer is it? So 1903 E107 Type 1s, there are 221 that have ever been graded. And for like across all the players. And for Plank, 6 ever have been graded. This is one of 6 Eddie Planks ever graded. So that's awesome. And then the other thing I want to look at real quick is, how do I check this? Like I said, they changed the site. I hate it when places change sites. It always bugs me. Does it bug you when places change sites like this, or change like formats and designs? Like, I've finally gotten used to it. Now everything's in a different spot. It's not just PSA. It's every website that's ever existed. Okay. How do I check? Let me click on research. Hopefully that'll help me. Give me just a second, guys. Cardfax. Bah. So Eddie Plank. That did not work. This is probably me just being dumb, actually. Cardfax. Usually there's like a way to just search easily and see everything for a specific player, and it's just, man, it's just not popping out to me right now. And it may be me, or it may be that like they recently changed, and that's fine. I'm gonna check one last thing. Okay, now this is what's weird. So if I type in Eddie Plank, what it does is it shows everything in order. I'll show you guys this. So if you come into PSA price guide and you type in the thing, it gives you, I guess it's just giving different sets. I thought this place used to order everything put everything in order, numeric order. See, it says 1906. Well, this card is from 1903. So I wonder, it's not our price guide. I don't know. I don't think it's in our population report. Maybe it's flexible search. Oh, that's Eddie Plank. Let's see if this does it. Okay, here we go. Yeah, here you go, guys. It is Eddie Plank's earliest card. This is the very first Eddie Plank card, and there's 6 of them in the world, and that explains real quick why this card's sitting at $10,500. Actually, that would be more. Eddie Plank, I don't know how great he was. I just know his name from the T206 set. I have no idea how good this guy was at baseball, but I know that there are 6 of these in the world, and that is significantly rarer. To REA's point, this is significantly rarer than his T206 set card, and it's his first card. So it's his first and it's rarer. But ironically, it's his first, it's his rare, it's his first, it's rare. And it may not be worth as much, because I can tell you what, a 2 of the T206, a lot more than 11 grand with a few days or a week to go at auction. That's awesome. I love finding stuff like that. Like, that is his first card. And it might have even said that in the write-up. It probably did, and I just missed it. But man, that's cool. I just love this Clemente. That's another thing that we found that's just awesome. Such a low print run on that card. All right, let's come back here to the main page. I've officially jumped around like crazy. We've gone through the first 100, sort of bounced around a little bit. Let's click on the next page. How long have we taken? We've already been doing this almost an hour, but we're going to glance through real quick and see if there's anything else that we want to hit. A game-used road uniform of Doc. That is awesome. I love that. One of the greatest players of all time. So much good stuff, man. So much stuff that I don't know about, though. Like, I mean, I could talk, I can talk in, in at least semi-educated way about this Jackie Robinson 8 from SGC. That's the #1 card from the 1953 top set. I can talk about all these things, but you guys know these sets. I want to give you stuff that might be different and, you might not be hearing everywhere. So forgive me. Now here's an Ichiro you don't see every day, man. I can't remember the last time we saw one of these. So this is the Ichiro X-Fractor. The X-Fractor is not numbered. It's a pop 1 of 3. This is a huge card. This is a huge card because this is from Ichiro's rookie year. Got to go look at the to see how rare this is across like all grades. But this is a big card. 408-71954. Man, I know it's on the second page, but 1 of 3, pop 1 of 3. PSA's got this estimated at 25 grand because it's as rare as it is. But the thing that you got to know, like, please remember this. Like, this is something that I've seen over and over again. Let me get on my soapbox for a second. When we have estimates of ultra rare population cards, they are often completely wrong. PSA has this one estimated at a $25,000 estimate. It's sitting at $5,500 right now. Is it going to be way higher than that? Is it going to be way lower? I don't know. What I do know is this. We've seen a couple of Ichiros that are really rare. The Ultimate Collection from a few years ago comes to my mind, where the high pop completely blew the socks off, knocked the socks off of everything that anybody ever would have estimated. And so as I look at this Ichiro card, like, I'm just sitting here wondering, like, is that the same thing? Because, like, this is the X-Fractor. The X-Fractor in a PSA 10 is a pop 3. And if we look back, let's do this. I'll put this over on the screen in just a second. So I want to show you guys this. This is one really good thing that you can check on the PSA Pop Report, and I like this a lot. So you can see there's 4 different issues of this card, right? 4 of them. There's a, but wait a second. There's a gold Ichiro, right? I know there's a gold Ichiro. I've talked about it a million times. Why does that not pop up here? I see the X-Fractor. Is the gold like from a different set? Is it from... I'm confused. Well, look at this. I can tell you what, this is the regular Ichiro, not the the regular X-Fractor, not the Japanese X-Fractor, because the Japanese in a PSA 10, for whatever reason, is just way more common. So look at this. The X-Fractor PSA gem rate is 10%. It's 3 out of 30. The X-Fractor Japanese gem rate is 25%. It's 2.5 times what the regular one is. You got to wonder why that is. Is it a centering issue? Probably. On this card, it's probably a centering issue. Obviously, there could be like edge stuff, but like that doesn't make any sense. This is a huge card, guys. Ichiro's beloved. That's one of my favorite cards of the auction so far. Very, very cool. All right, let's get out of there. I've still got all this stuff that does not need to be opened anymore. I'm going to try to wrap this up in the next 15, 20 minutes. I need to go to basketball stuff here soon. Okay. Let's just fly through this page number 2 and see if anything else really stands out. Pete Browning, 1888 N172. A Ruth Ball is always obviously cool to see. 1909 Ramley Tobacco Wee Willie Healer. Why am I saying stuff I don't know anything about? That's not why you guys are here. Okay, so we're going to stop there as far as like non-basketball stuff. Now I want to go check out basketball stuff and see if there's anything that I can glean from any of the other stuff that's up that might be interesting to you guys. So if you come in here and you click show filters, you can then come over to here and see by category. Oh, how do I get to there? There we go. Football cards and memorabilia. Oh, these are different than their catalog is. Their catalog has football and basketball and all that stuff together. Where is basketball? I don't see it. There it is. Basketball and memorabilia. There's 160 items. We're going to look through every one of them. SGC 9 on the Chamberlain, obviously a huge card. SGC 10 on the Jordan, obviously huge. We already looked at this metal. 7.5 on the Russell, the authentic autograph on the Jordan. PSA 9 complete set. A Mike and 5. That's a great card. That will not be staying at $4,000, I assure you, because if it does, I will buy it. It will not stay there. It will go up. We'll take a look at that one. It looks like the centering's off, but it looks like a great copy. An autographed Russell 57. Next time I'm going to start with the basketball. You guys know that's where my expertise is probably greater. This Oscar autograph I want to check out. A 6 on this Jordan is not a bad grade. It's one of the most off-centered cards that you will ever find. A 1960-61 con set, number 1 in the registry. Yeah, we're going to look at that for sure. Ooh, we've got lots of cool stuff going on here with cons. 62 set, number 2 in the registry. 63 set, number 3 in the registry. Oops, clicked the wrong thing there. Ah, heck. Now, of course, it just blew me up. Okay, we're going to look at that one. Man, all of these con sets, I probably don't want to actually look at all of those. I did notice this Kobe earlier in the catalog that they send you in the mail. If you haven't gotten an REA catalog, if you are somebody who likes getting things in print, and it is a catalog, man, it is like 500 pages. I would 100% recommend reaching out to them, go to their website, get their catalog sent to you. I noticed this Kobe in it earlier. I only looked at it for a couple of minutes because I knew I was going to be down doing this anyways. But boy, I love that, and I love this Curry right here. Those are both going to certainly go on my top 10. Without question, will go on my top 10. What is this? This Jordan autograph. Must be like an in-person autograph. That looks the same as his first autograph does, but his first autograph's a jumbo card. What is this? 3 autographs with Jackie Robinson, Mickey Mantle, and Gil Hodges. Why is it in the basketball section? I wonder if there's some more basketball guys in it or something. Okay, let's keep going. Another Oscar autograph. I'm not going to look at that one. That one's a lot further down. 1980 uncut sheet with the Big 3 card. And circa 1974 signed really old Doc autograph. I actually love that. Let's look at that one closer. And Jokic Prism rookie. Is this the whole set, or is this just the Wilt rulers? What is this? High grade 1990 to 91 Fleer basketball complete set collection. 20 sets. Okay. Signed basketballs and a Magic Johnson shoe. Okay. Let's look at each of these briefly. Really nice looking Mikan. Great looking card. Registration just a tiny bit off here. You can see it around the arms and in the head. Mikan's registration is always off. Where you can see the white shining through. It means it just didn't quite line up. And see how dark his skin is over here, where like the blue or purple or whatever color that is hits his arm. So the registration's off. It is obviously off top to bottom, pretty spot on left to right. but one of the most iconic basketball cards ever made. And in a 5, that's a glorious card. It's in a new holder. It's an old grade, but a new holder. You can see it here in the 2s. Back's got a little bit of discoloration, but yeah, that's just a beautiful card. Really a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful card. I have one in my collection. It was the card growing up. It was always the card. This Bill Russell autograph rookie is interesting. Card's just been graded authentic. Probably be fairly. I mean, it would be fairly low grade if the card was graded. You can see around the edges and corners. The snow up here. The autograph just gets lost on this card on a lot of them. This one's been graded a 9 because it goes off card, but Russell's really good. I mean, he was always really good about signing and the autographs looking decent. So that's probably the only reason that it's not a 10. You can see it come down into the yellow nameplate here. But yeah, this is a card that often gets lost unless it's a really different color. This is just exactly what you want as far as an Oscar Robertson autographed rookie card. His population report has grown tremendously. Is one of the older players who's still alive. And as the hobby has really grown in terms of autographed rookie cards. But man, that's a great looking example. Registration's off a little tiny bit, but really pretty good for a 61. And the centering's obviously not spot on, but really pretty good for a 61. Even top to bottom does not bother me. The centering here doesn't bother me at all. I think it presents really well. You can say at some point, this made its way to the PWCC vault back in the day, and it was graded a top 30%. And that is pretty easy to understand because it is glorious. It is a beautiful card. And with the 10 autograph too, I love that Oscar signature. It's fantastic. Okay, so I wanted to look at these. The 1960 con set I love because that card right there was made before his rookie card. Sometimes you'll see the con set move together. This isn't like not like all the time, but like maybe once or twice a year you'll see a whole set move together. If I remember right, the 1960 set's the first one. I think that's true. Double check me on that. There's not like a 1959 set. I wonder if they say it in here. But I think this is only the second complete set we have offered in the past 21 years. You know what? I think I bought the last one from them. No. It wasn't a 60 set. I bought a set. I just remembered this. I bought a set of this from REA, maybe like 62. It's just so hard to remember. But I bought a set from them a couple of years ago. And I love it. My problem with this set is I have like a self-imposed rule where if a card is not a regulation size, I don't keep it in my collection. And you can see the cards are a little bit larger than normal. So that's just a me thing. I don't think most people feel that way. But I'll tell you why I love this set. I'll tell you why I love the 1960 Cons Wiener set. It's not just because it says the Wiener the world awaited. The Wiener the world awaited. It's funny. Everybody looks at it and they laugh. But why I love this set is in 1960, this is the year before the 1961 Fleer set comes out. So the iconic Oscar Robertson, that's a 1961 card. This card predates that. The reason we don't think of this as the rookie card is because it was just in a food product and was more of a regional thing. The other thing that I love about this set, and this is something that I think you only know if you really like actually look at these things. Do you notice anybody that really stands out in terms of players in this set? I'm asking you to read my mind a little bit, but the answer is Jerry West. Why? Because he's the only non-Cincinnati Royal in the whole thing. Everybody else in this is the Royals. Jack Twyman's a Hall of Famer. Wayne Embry, I think, is I don't know if Embry is. I think he is. Oscar Robertson, Jerry West, a Laker. A Laker makes the set. To me, this set is worth watching. If for nothing else, then I would love to have, I know it breaks my rule, but I would love to have the Jerry West because it's so rare. Look at this. Let me show you this real quick. If you come in to the Pop Report and look up the West, you're going to find something really interesting about this card. So in a PSA 2, there are 5 of them and 18 higher. Again, this is the first Jerry West card. And we'll check that here in a sec just to make sure there's not anything else that came first. But there are 35 of this card that have ever been graded. Ever. Yes, this is not the highest grade copy, but it's honestly not bad. Like there are 11 of these cards that are graded lower. So this barely is in like the second quadrant, right? It's a below average copy of this card to be sure, but it's not, there's 20 something, there's 20 cards. There's how many cards are graded higher than this? 4, 8, 13, 15, 16, 17. There's 18 copies of this card graded higher than this Jerry West in the whole world. And to me, it's interesting, if nothing else, to watch this set, because you may just want the West. Buy the set, sell off the rest, and keep the West, or keep the Oscar. The Oscar is a 3, is even going to be tougher. In fact, let me look at that too, because that's the other significant one here. Oscar. Bear with me. Gosh, why did they change their site? It's not good. Okay, 677-11203. They're probably sick of people like me looking up stuff all the time. So Oscar Robertson, this is a pop 4 with just 11 higher. Pop 4, 11 higher. I just realized I didn't have to do all that. Oscar, so there's 4 1s, 4 1.5s, 4 2s, and then there's 4 3s. So 12 of the 27 copies are graded lower than this one. This one's right spot on average. This is an average copy of this card. Again, it's in at 1850. It's not going to end at that. It's going to end at a lot higher than that. But I love that. I love that auction. All right. And then you get into these later years, right? 62, where you get another great image of Jerry West. My Jerry West looked like that one. It did not. I don't think it looked like this one. I remember him dunking. I think it was probably this set. But there's other great guys that you have to check out in these sets that are sort of like XRCs and like big time Hall of Famers. Let me show you a couple of them. So are any of them in here? I don't know these names as well. This isn't the one that I was looking at. Let's get out of this one. This is the complete set from. Oh, okay. Okay. So in 58, there was another set. So that predates that 60 set. But guess who's not in it? Jerry West is not in it. In fact, this set has a bunch of people in it that I do not know. I wanted to check something real quick, though. I wanted to check if it is really Jerry West's first card. I have to look, sorry. Because I might be, like I said, I might be bidding on this one. So if you come into research and you click pop report and you type in his name, isn't that where I can do it? I think. Jerry West. Yes. 1960 Cons Wieners, his very first card. And there's only one of them. And man, there's only 30 something. I'm going to bid on this for sure. I'm going to bid on this the 60 set. See if I can win it. Okay. So I already showed you guys the 59 set. The 61 set's awesome too because again, made the same year. I guess West doesn't have one that year. Near complete set. Looks like it's missing the West. Missing only the Jerry West for completion. Well, we understand why. You know what's funny? Maybe this is the set that I bought because I pulled the West out and I kept it for a while. Is this the one that has... No. Sorry. And then I don't remember seeing this one. The 64 set. Number 2 on the PSA registry. Has Oscar, Twyman, Jerry Lucas. Another one of these sets has Jerry Lucas. And that's like the ultimate XRC because his rookie card is in 1969. And then he's got these other cards from like the early 60s. All right, let's get into some of the other stuff and then we'll get out of here. So I love this Kobe Bryant card. This is one of the cards of the week for me, and I'll show you why real quick. This card, obviously since Kobe's passing, a lot of his autograph cards that are like on his rookies have been pretty sought after. And it's really not hard to understand why, right? People love rookies. They love how iconic they are, but he didn't sign them. Like there's not an autograph version of this one that was like in the packs. They didn't have autographs in Topps 1986. So somewhere along the way, Kobe signed this, or at least PSA has authenticated that Kobe signed this That's what's tough is, PSA has to authenticate that sort of thing. So if you go and look at the pop report on this, I'm really interested to see how many Kobe autographs from 1996 tops are in the whole report. And we're going to find out right now. Gosh, there are 7. Yeah, this is a huge card, guys. This is a huge, huge card because this is like the iconic Kobe image. You could say the iconic card is this or the Topps Chrome, but he's only signed 7 of these that are in the pop report. Good night. 4 of them that are PSA authentic and 3 higher, which I think by definition means he's only signed 7. We're going to just confirm that real quick. But that's going to be one of my favorite cards of the week for sure. It's definitely going to go on my top 10 list. Oh, I am wrong. I am totally wrong. Why did that page say that? I got to show you guys this so you don't think I'm going crazy. Okay, so check this out. I'm on the PSA DNA certified place. Now look at this. Pop 5. And there's 3 9s, 4 8s, 4 7s, 2 4s. That gives us a total of pop 18. Right? You with me? Now look back at, Now look back at this. Oh, I don't have, sorry. Pop 4, 3 higher. Man, tell me how that works. Oh, I'm an idiot. That's how it works. I'm a freaking idiot. Look, it says PSA 8. I saw off, and I thought that the card was off, and that the autograph, I just didn't look at it closely enough. My bad. I'm the idiot. PSA's right. I should have known that from the beginning. I was the idiot. So, right, we've already pulled this up. No, we haven't. Where did it go? So it is one of these. It's one of the 4 8s. There's only 3 higher, but still, there's only 18 of these total. So Kobe Bryant's rookie card, his most iconic base rookie card, he's only got 18 that are signed that have been authenticated by a PSA. And you can bet they're not going to authenticate a ton. At least I would think that they're not going to authenticate a ton of them these days because I think Kobe's autograph's so hard to tell on. I had a card a couple years ago that I had somebody just promise me up and down, I promise you this was signed by Kobe. And he actually just gave it to me as a gift. And I was like, how did you get it? And he told me this long story about how he was a ball boy for a little while and got to meet Kobe, and Kobe was awesome. Like this super elaborate thing. And again, he just gave it to me. It wasn't like it was like I won an auction and it was like a throw in the auction. I wanted the other card and he just threw this other thing in. And I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking about sending this in. He's like, it'll probably come back real, I would expect. I mean, it is real. And I was like, all right. And so I sent it in. PSA denied it. I sent it into Beckett. Beckett denied it. I ended up spending like $300 trying to get this card authenticated, and then nobody would authenticate it. It was from 1997 Metal Universe. And then I ended up selling it on eBay raw for like $50 or something stupid. I probably should have just kept the card. But the point is, getting a Kobe autograph authenticated by one of the grading companies at this point is actually pretty tough. And so this one in a PSA 8 with just 3 higher, I think this is a pretty cool card. I do. I think it's a pretty cool card. All right, I'm way out of order at this point. Talked about the Kobe. I've got to highlight this stuff real quick here, though. This is the 2009 Pen Pals. This is one of his first signatures in existence. You can see he's still in the Davidson uniform here. Does it say Warriors on it? Just has Warriors right there and here. But this is one of the first autographs of the Panini era. Again, from the National Treasures brand. But National Treasures didn't have a lot of stuff where he was in Davidson uniform. So it's interesting that they left it that way. There's some duals and some triples in this set, but it's an early rookie Steph autograph. I love it. Now this one, is it signed on the back? Whoa, this is pretty cool, guys. Check this out. Best wishes, Michael Jordan. On the back of his 94 Collector's Choice. Somebody meet that while he was golfing? You would guess, man. Like there he is in his golf. I can just imagine somebody walking up with that. That's awesome. And then this Doc, look at the Irving autograph here. Super old, original photograph, autograph and pen. That thing's cool. That sort of thing that you want to put in your office. I love that it's ABA. I should buy that for my dad. My dad would lose his mind if I gave him that. I'll bet it's going to go for a lot more than what it's at, unfortunately. Okay, I went for longer than I said I would. Again, the auction ends on the 27th. Tons of high-end stuff. We didn't go through, we went through roughly 4%, 5% of the whole auction today. It is absolutely huge. Give yourself a couple hours, scroll through, do all your searches, do everything that you have to do. And like I said, I really enjoyed working with REA in the past, and I'm sure you guys will too. So thank you guys for watching. And until next time, happy collecting.